January buried us in snow, the BCPS brief is arriving late this time. Episode 5 is a special MSDE edition about the new Maryland framework for physical education. A few quick updates before we dive into the new framework. Spring means it's time for rotating equipment requests for our elementary PE teachers. Here's a look at next year's session schedule. The top schedule covers movement education equipment and hard adventure, while the bottom schedule outlines table tennis and quick start tennis. New this year, and hopefully you like this, we're moving to an online request form for rotating equipment. Details will land in your inbox on March 16th. Before then, double check your school's master calendar so you don't run into scheduling surprises. And as always, requests are filled in the order in which they are submitted, so earlier is better. We have a few professional development sessions coming up in March and April. On March 17th, we'll host our BCPS Move work group, followed by a pickleball PD on March 24th, and finally an outdoor adventures workshop on April 20th. You can register for any or all of these sessions on KickUp. Just a reminder that materials from our PD sessions can be found in the Health and PE Professional Development course on Schoology. On March 20th, we'll have a system-wide professional learning day. The day is scheduled to be a half day with teachers reporting to their school from 8:30 to 12:30. During the day, you will have Module 1, which is county-provided materials, and then after a break, Module 2, which will be distributed to teachers through Schoology, which will focus on PE content. Earlier this month, MSDE officially approved the new framework for physical education. I sat down with Luke Hollis from MSDE to talk about how the framework was created and what the implementation process will look like for districts across Maryland. Here's our conversation.
Welcome, everybody. I have Luke Hollis, who is the coordinator of standards-based PE from MSDE with us, and we're going to ask him a couple questions about the new framework for physical education. So, Luke, the new framework for physical education in the state of Maryland, what are the major changes from the old framework that occurred?
Thank you first for having me Baltimore County. I enjoy connecting with folks. I'm happy to be here, and it's a great question with the new publication of the framework. There are some changes, like I could talk about all day, but I'll be brief. The two changes teachers and students will notice first are one, the change in the actual PE standards. There are 4 PE standards that cover every grade, pre-K through 12. Those standards do not change across grades. They define learning, teaching, and learning. The shift from the previous 5, which Justin mentioned, to 4 standards simplifies the learning standards and process, still promotes motor skill development, intrinsic values of students, and promotes meaningful physical education where students experience autonomy and develop agency to pursue health-enhancing experiences outside of school. So yeah, that change being the shift from 5 standards to 4 and simplifying some language. The second shift that folks will notice is the framework moves from grade level outcomes to grade span learning indicators. These indicators break down the standard for each grade level, pre-K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12, into curriculum guidance, the what is taught, and ultimately assessed. These indicators represent what a child should know or be able to do at the end of each grade span. This is a shift from the current specific grade level outcomes that represent what students should be able to do at the end of each year. So for example, an elementary PE teacher teaching pre-K through 5 currently would have to know and assess 174 grade level outcomes in standard 1 alone. We know that scheduling issues, lack of time, too many outcomes, put unrealistic expectations on teachers and students in many places. The indicators provide teachers and students more flexibility and time to meet the indicators while maintaining critical and meaningful PE experiences.
And speaking of that shift, that these new standards make, how do you see the new framework affecting daily instruction for our physical educators?
Thank you for that. It's a great question. The content of what teachers instruct will be consistent with what has always worked in PE. Lessons should be, challenging, fun, engaging, relevant for learners. The most clear emphasis from academic research is that reflection in PE is critical to students' values and perceptions and improving their experiences. So teachers are going to notice that the indicators in standards 3 and 4 promote a lot of interaction and personal development and reflection opportunities. So the content's not really going to change a whole lot for folks, especially those folks who've been teaching the standards. But you will see more of an emphasis on student reflection and developing their own understanding of the content and allowing them time to work through some of those challenges that we have in PE.
Thanks. That sounds good from the teacher standpoint, not a huge change. So that's good. Do you foresee any challenges that teachers may face when implementing the new framework?
Yeah, I mean, Justin, we had 13 members from across the state working on this. We didn't agree on everything in this evolution of standards in the framework. We had our challenges. The challenges teachers will face is going to vary. I know from my experiences going through the 2014 standards change, I was very embedded in those grade level outcomes when they came out. I used them basically every hour of every day while teaching for 10 years. And for me personally, the changes to the framework were a little difficult to understand. Luckily, the other 12 members, the research that Shape America has put out, and a lot of conversation and time has kind of helped shift that narrative and the evolution of standards. Those discussions help me understand that. I understand that a first year teacher will have a completely different set of challenges, not being familiar with the outcomes. Sharing the framework, having discussions, it's going to take time to perfect. I think that folks are going to be drawn to assessment first as a challenge in grading. In reality, it'd be great to have more time to get trained up on those reflection practices and building in meaningful discussion, dialogue, and content interaction. But I think a lot of folks are going to first see the change around grading and assessment.
Yeah, and that's one of the areas that we want to focus in on with our teachers is working through what assessment looks like. So that's something that we'll be working on this summer. And I do want to say I appreciate the fact that that state committee took the time to look at the new national standards and go through them kind of with a fine-tooth comb. And I think what you all created for this Maryland framework based off of the new national standards is even better. It's simplified. There's not as many progressions as some of the national standards in that book. And it just flows much better. So I'm excited that you all did that work and were able to complete that work. And so this idea of a whole, these new standards that we're working towards, why is that a benefit for students and why is it a benefit for our content area as a whole?
That's a great question, and I agree with what you're saying about the simplification, the work the committee put in to put this together, relying on research and not just, oh, this feels right to me, because it represents the whole state. The theory behind the framework change around providing meaningful physical education, it makes sense. It's basically that PE should be fun, challenging, developing motor skills. It should be personally relevant for the learner. Social interaction is a key piece to positive experience in physical education. So just seeing the intentionality behind reflection, behind the content introduction, the sequence of learning, those all emphasize what meaningful physical education can and should be for students. The biggest short, like buzz term phrase that I heard that was helpful for me was that physical education, specifically standard 1, is age related, not dependent. And that language in the standards and that language in the framework gave me and a lot of us a clear understanding of why the grade span learning indicators are helpful. You're going to have 30 students in a room, maybe some of you more. And just because they're in 3rd grade doesn't mean that they're all going to be at the same starting place, the same motivation level. You might have different PE space equipment. There's going to be a lot of different variables that go into it. And so the flexibility that comes with the new framework and the progressions, I think is going to really help teachers and ultimately students be successful and know that they can be successful in PE. So yeah, I could talk about this all day. I think it's a really good conversation, but the age related, not dependent, the flexibility for teachers, the simplified language, And the ability to actually learn from Shape America and make some changes locally was really beneficial. Like one example, I know that one of the standard 2 concepts for cognitive learning in the Shape America document references skill related fitness, but then they didn't have a standard 1 for the physical skill for skill related. So we were able to clarify that and improve. So the committee did great work. And we're excited to share it and roll it out over time. We'll take some time, but we're excited for it and excited to help students be successful in PE.
Yeah, we're excited in Baltimore County to start digging into it, take a good look at it. And I appreciate your time today, Luke, to walking us through a little bit. And I have a feeling down the road, we will be seeing you again at some point, as we work through implementing this new framework into our curriculum.
Oh, I'm sure. Thanks for having me. I hope I wasn't too long-winded. I talk about this all the time. But I appreciate it. And I hope to see you all soon in Baltimore County. And I know you're all doing a great job.
Yeah, no, thanks, Luke. Much appreciated.
A big thank you to Luke for his time and expertise. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you in our next episode.
Every time I breathe, it's a gasp. Yeah.